Justice, what a welcome sight in this gloomy place you are. I hope the change in plans didn't throw you too much.
I'm still reeling from change of suspects.
Look, I meant what I said about keeping you out of this when I thought Garcia was targeting me, but now they're after Laura, and...
Look, you couldn't stop me from defending her, even if you tried.
Thank you, friend. How soon do you think we can get her out of here?
Well, the arraignment should be fairly routine. I'll plead her not guilty, the judge will set bail, and the rest is paperwork.
I sure hope so. The vultures are already circling.
Mayor, reported that Police Commissioner Hampton has taken an enforced leave of absence from which he will not be returning. Would you comment on that?
Well, Veronica, I'm aware that the commissioner is experiencing some personal problems. He may very well decide to take early retirement at this point.
But since he's spearheading the Damian Smith murder investigation, how do you think his sudden disappearance from the scene is going to affect the state's case?
It won't. No, the police work's been done. The case has been made. The evidence is irrefutable. Laura Spencer is guilty of the murder of Damian Smith.
You seem fairly certain of that.
I am.
Justice is here. He explained the procedure. Everything's going to be all right.
Justice, I was afraid you might give in to your noble instincts and defend Laura.
I've already told you as much, and I was under the impression that you understood.
Well, I've had overnight to think, and I won't let you do it. If you can't think straight about this, I'll have to do it for you.
You've been doing too much of that already. I have to live with myself.
Forget about yourself for a minute and think about Laura. You're too close to this case. You're too emotionally involved to keep a clear eye.
You don't give a damn about Laura.
That's wrong. I care about the woman, and I don't wish her any harm, but I am desperate to keep you out of the line of fire.
Well, so far, I've been doing a pretty good job of that all by myself. Staying out of the line of fire while other people are getting hit. People I call friends. Now, I am not going back in there and telling Laura Spencer that she can fend for herself.
You won't have to, because she will have the best representation.
What's up?
Oh, I was just informing Justice that I've arranged for an old friend of mine to defend Laura.
Well, then you went to a lot of trouble for nothing.
R.J. Gentlemen, this is R.J. Chambers, whose reputation as one of the country's leading criminal attorneys is richly deserved. He's just flown up from New York City. This is Luke Spencer, the husband of the accused woman, and my grandson, Councilman Justice Ward.
Mr. Spencer. Mr. Ward.
I'm afraid Edward jumped the gun here, Mr. Chambers. Why didn't you talk to me about this before you brought him here?
Well, I'm sorry for the oversight. There simply wasn't enough time.
Well, I'm sorry you made the trip for nothing. Justice Ward has agreed to defend my wife.
Of course, and it would have been an excellent choice if R.J. hadn't been available. But this is a man who has spent his entire career defending clients in cases like this. I don't think you know how lucky you are.
I feel lucky with justice.
Of course, but it's just a difference in experience and expertise in a particular area of law. At Justice's stage of the game, R.J. had a few things to learn too, right?
You bet. What's your stake in this, Edward? Why are you pushing so hard?
My stake is averting a miscarriage of justice. Now, I think that the person who rid the world of Damian Smith should be awarded a medal. But it would be a hideous travesty if an innocent woman was made to suffer. I barged ahead in my own blunt way, thinking this is what you'd want for your wife. If I've overstepped my bounds, I apologize.
What do you think, Justice? Is this an offer I should consider?
Yeah, I think you should go with Chambers.
Darling?
This is R.J. Chambers. He's a criminal attorney that Edward brought here to represent you.
Mrs. Spencer, I am very pleased to meet you.
What happened to Justice?
Justice has deferred to Mr. Chambers' expertise and experience with a little arm twisting from Edward.
From what I understand, Mr. Ward is a very able attorney, but when you have a heart condition, you go to a heart specialist rather than a general practitioner.
Well, then you won't mind if I get a second opinion on your track record.
Not at all. Absolutely. Get all the opinions you want. However, in all modesty, I think my reputation speaks for itself.
I'm more interested in results than reputations. You may be the best, but we have to make sure you're the best for my wife.
There's also the expense to consider.
No, that's something you're not going to have to worry about. I'm doing this as a personal favor to Edward. And my fee will be comparable to whatever Mr. Ward would have billed.
Edward has also insisted on paying your bail, so you're going to be home tonight with Lulu on your lap.
You know, I'm very grateful for all of this. I just don't understand why I'm here. I mean, why? Because they found my fingerprints on the baseball bat? I took that stuff over to the Ward house. I unpacked the bag. Of course, my fingerprints would be on it. If the killer wore gloves, well, then, of course, his wouldn't be. I don't get it. Why do I need a lawyer? Bail. I didn't do this.
The evidence is purely circumstantial. They have no case against Laura.
Well, Detective Garcia felt they had enough of a case to arrest her. Dara Jensen is prepared to take her to trial, circumstantial evidence or not.
They are desperate to have something to show for all their posturing and muscle flexing to get the politicians and the media off their back.
Well, Detective Garcia got burned a while back for arresting Catherine Bell for all the same reasons. We need to be very careful to cover his bets this time. It's a good thing I still hold the trump card.
If you do what I ask, you'll never have to use it. Laura will never be convicted. She has the truth on her side and a top-notch attorney looking out for her. Justice, we have nothing to worry about. Things are in very good shape now, Justice. I think it's better if you stayed away from the proceedings.
I can't do that. Laura and Luke need all the support they can get, and you and I both know none of this is under control.
Well, I think the Spencers are in very good shape to face this ordeal. It's you I'm worried about.
I'm worried I might fall apart.
I'm afraid you'll cave in and confess when you see Laura accused.
Well, you got that much right. If I were to see Laura being called a killer and a liar, I just might confess, in spite of all your arguments.
Now, you remember, I'm not the one who made the original decision not to tell what happened. You are. And that's why you're in this spot, young man, and I'm here trying to help you out.
Well, my free ride ended the minute someone else was arrested for this crime.
Laura was upstairs in the Ward house with 2 babies, one of them her own, while Damian Smith was downstairs setting fire to the house. She'll come across as a Madonna, and I'm not talking about the one with the fancy underwear. It would take an act of God to convict her and another one to put her away for even one day.
What the hell are you saying? That I should let her take the rap because she'd get a lighter sentence than me?
No, that's not what I meant. It's just...
I called ELQ. They said that I could find you here. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I have something very important I need to speak to you about.
Excuse me.
No, Justice, please. Stay. Please. This could affect your future.
All rise.
Don't worry, it's a routine procedure. It'll take about 20 minutes.
Hear ye, hear ye. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Winston Young presiding. Be seated.
This is a preliminary hearing in the matter of recognizance and sureties for bail for the detainee, Laura Spencer.
Dara Jensen, Assistant District Attorney for the People, Your Honor.
Would you note your appearance, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. R.J. Chambers, Mrs. Spencer's attorney as of this morning.
Yes, I recognize you from your frequent appearances in the media, Mr. Chambers. Laura Spencer, you've been charged with the murder of Damian Smith. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Your Honor, I respectfully request that Mrs. Spencer be released on her own recognizance pending the outcome of the grand jury hearing.
Your Honor, the people move that bail be denied and that Mrs. Spencer be maintained in custody.
Your Honor, the prosecution's request for denial of bail is ludicrous. Mrs. Spencer is a woman with deep ties to the community. She's a wife. She's a mother of 2 children. She is hardly a flight risk.
I strenuously disagree, Your Honor. It's a matter of record that Laura Spencer spent 10 years of her life on the run with her husband and one of her children. As a matter of fact, she was on the run from the father of the man she now stands accused of killing. Furthermore, she is responsible for the deaths of 2 men in 2 other separate incidents.
She was saving someone else's life. This lawyer doesn't know my wife, Your Honor. Apparently the people, whoever the hell that is,
Sit down,
can
Mr.
accuse her of
Spencer.
anything.
Your Honor, Mr. Spencer is rightfully concerned because this young woman can just...
Excuse me. My title is Assistant District Attorney, and my name is Dara Jensen.
Of course. Ms. Jensen has clearly done her homework. In fact, she knows my client better than I do at this point. However, she doesn't seem anywhere near as familiar with bail procedure. Otherwise, she would know that it is almost unheard of for bail to be denied peremptorily in cases anything like this.
Your Honor, the point I am trying to make is that being a fugitive and living incognito, even with a young child and a husband, are circumstances that the detainee is very familiar with. Therefore, the normal assumption that a woman with Mrs. Spencer's ties to the community is unlikely to jump bail simply do not apply here.
Your Honor, clearly, I'm going to need a little time to get up to speed, but that doesn't mean that my client should be punished for my lack of preparation, or frankly, for counsel's inexperience.
Take all the time you need to familiarize yourself with the case, Mr. Chambers. But due to your client's unusual history, bail is denied, and Mrs. Spencer is remanded to the city jail pending the grand jury hearing.
This is a joke! There's no case against my wife, Your Honor. The police are just looking to put anybody away for this murder.
That's enough,
Because they looked like clowns when they tried to pin the non-murder on another innocent woman.
Be quiet, Mr. Spencer. I'm warning you. One more word and I'll cite you for contempt of court and throw you in jail with your wife.
Please. Last thing we need is to have both of us behind bars. Please.